Hi there, I am Kelly.
And I am Adrian. And today we are going to talk about ethics of communication.
Ethics play a vital role in communication. When we communicate, we should consider how helpful or harmful our words and actions are to others.
In this video, we will explore the act of communicating ethically by looking at some approaches for making ethical choices in communication. This discussion video will be of 3 parts. First, we will discuss the approaches to ethical decision making. Second, we will discuss the article How to Be an Ethical Communicator. And third, we will discuss real-life situations about ethical communication.
But before that, let us first break down and define the key concepts of ethics of communication. Ethics as a philosophical discipline is a systematic approach to analyzing and distinguishing what is right and wrong, what is good and bad. Communication, on the other hand, is the process of sending and receiving messages through verbal or non-verbal means. Therefore, ethics of communication focuses on how one's behavior is governed by one's morals and how this, in turn, affects the way we communicate others.
Now that we already know what ethical communication really means, let us then proceed to part 1, discussing the 4 approaches to ethical decision making. It is not easy to distinguish right from wrong. When we are involved in ethical decision making, we are free to choose, but we should also consider that our choices should be well versed by ethics. Let us discuss these 4 approaches to ethical decision making. We have utilitarian ethics, moral duty, virtue ethics, and common good approach.
Utilitarian ethics is a substantive ethical system which focuses mainly on the outcomes of ethical decisions, providing the greatest good for the greatest number of people. For example, assume a hospital has 4 people whose lives depend upon receiving organ transplants: a heart, lungs, a kidney, and a liver. If a healthy person wanders into the hospital, his organs could be harvested to save 4 lives at the expense of 1 life. This would arguably produce the greatest good for the greatest number.
Moral duty approach is the normative ethical theory that the morality of an action should be based not on what outcomes we gain for ourselves, but on the law or duty that governs it. For example, you are a software engineer and learn that a nuclear missile is about to launch that might start a war. You can hack the network and cancel the launch, but it is against your professional code of ethics to break into any software system without permission, and it's a form of lying and cheating. Deontology or moral duty advises not to violate these rules.
Virtue ethics are normative ethical theories which emphasize an individual's virtue of mind, character, and sense of honesty rather than rules or the consequences. For example, let us illustrate this through the film The Dark Knight, where Batman has the opportunity to kill the Joker. According to White and Arp, utilitarians would endorse killing the Joker. By taking this 1 life, Batman could save multitudes. Deontologists, or those who believe moral duty ethics, on the other hand, would reject killing the Joker simply because it's wrong to kill. But a virtue ethicist would highlight the character of the person who kills the Joker. Does Batman want to be the kind of person who takes his enemies' lives? No, in fact he doesn't.
The common good approach regards all individuals as part of a larger community, and that the own good of each individual is linked to the good of the community, and that community members are bound by the pursuit of common values and goals. Examples of situations wherein there is a common good approach are court systems, healthcare, and lawmaking.
Let us proceed to part 2, discussing the article How to Be an Ethical Communicator by Richard Johannesson 2017.
First, let's summarize each of the guidelines. Guideline number 1, an ethical communicator audience analysis plays a significant role in the process of communication. How we influence others will depend on our attitudes towards our audience. Respecting other people, regardless of their culture and beliefs, is essential in the process of communication. Guideline number 2, an ethical communicator respect for the truth is essential. A functional relationship between the sender and the receiver cannot be arrived if one is lying. And if we cannot trust the person or a group, our communication becomes ineffective. Guideline number 3, an ethical communicator uses information properly. Providing information to people needs proper preparation. Talking about a topic with no background or adequate information about the issue would give false information. Guideline number 4, an ethical communicator, a person, do not falsify information. An excellent example of this is plagiarism, where the person used words or ideas of another without giving credit to the primary source.
Next, what does each of the guidelines tell us about how to become an ethical communicator? Ethical communicators should have respect for their audiences the way they want to be treated also. Another one is an ethical communicator should respect the truth because honesty is an essential part of having a close relationship with a person or a group. Still, if we cannot trust them, communication becomes ineffective. Using pieces of information properly also plays a significant role in becoming an ethical communicator, wherein giving insight or opinions to a topic should be factual and have relevant reports. Lastly, an ethical communicator does not falsify information, such as plagiarizing one's idea without giving credit to it.
So, is an effective communicator an ethical communicator? The answer is yes. An authentic, effective communicator knows how to respect the person they are talking. They speak with all honesty, give information and use it properly, and do not falsify pieces of information.
Finally, let's proceed to part 3, discussing real-life situations about ethical communication. Let's say our real-life communication situation is fake news in social media. What is unethical about such situation? The unethical about fake news in social media is it leads us to misinformation.
Why is it unethical? It is unethical because it gives us false information.
What could you do differently? In reading an article or news, we need to do a fact check.
What ethical guideline can you suggest? The ethical guideline that we can suggest is to respect the truth.
Why is it important to be ethical in this situation? Because many people would easily believe in the things they see in their social media accounts without fact checking or knowing if the article they are reading is real.
And that concludes our discussion for the ethics of communication. I hope that now we became more aware of the ethical dimensions and the ethical elements of communication. Right, Callie?
Exactly, Adrian. And now that we also discovered the significance of ethics and communication, we should now recognize and reflect on this too and try our best to be a good ethical communicator.